Ja, herzlich willkommen zum zweiten Amusiko-Release. Heute mit einem sehr, sehr besonderen Gast aus England, aus London. Und zwar den Leiter des London Accordion Orchestras, Ian Watson, darf ich ganz herzlich hier begrüßen. Er hat einige Kompositionen bei uns veröffentlicht und ich hoffe, dass wir spannende Dinge erfahren von ihm und seiner Musik. Hello Ian, nice to meet you here in Zoom.
Hi Tobias.
My first question is Ian or Ian?
That's very good. When we first played, when LAO, London Accordion Orchestra, first played in Innsbruck in 2013, the man who did the announcement said, and we welcome London Accordion Orchestra and their conductor Ian Watson, and the whole orchestra started laughing. But no, it's Ian. Ian is the name.
Okay.
But Ian is fine. When I'm in Europe, people call me Jan, Ian, Ian. I understand.
Okay. Then Ian, it's right. Okay.
Ian, yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself briefly to our viewers?
Sure. I'm Ian Watson, and I conduct the London Accordion Orchestra. And I'm a composer, but mainly my job is playing the accordion for films, TV shows, theatre, and orchestras in London. Although nothing is happening now, hopefully in the future we'll go back to doing all that. So in the meantime, I'm writing lots of music.
Okay. Let's talk about the idea of the Global Accordion Project Orchestra. How did the idea come about?
Really, I suppose, I thought it was such a shame because the accordion is such a sociable instrument. So most of us who play the accordion enjoy playing a lot with other musicians. So for me, that's in my job, that's mainly playing with violinists, singers, what have you. But I know for my orchestra, they were really missing the interaction of playing with other musicians whilst they're at home. So originally we were going to do a project just with the London Accordion Orchestra, video project. And my partner Sam said, why don't we see if more people want to join? So we just came up with this title, Global Accordion Project Orchestra, quickly made a logo, and did a video on our Facebook page, inviting people to email us if they'd like to be part of it. And within 2 hours, we had 140 emails in 2 hours. So we had to quickly stop because we couldn't take any more. And we decided to play Peace because the idea of the feel of the music seemed to be a good match for the time, that the strange times that we're living in at the moment.
Yeah. Later we talk about Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second project was Song Without Words with 100 players.
Yes. So for the second, the second project, we limited to 100 players because the time it takes to edit all of the videos, all the sound, it's enjoyable to do, but we also have to get on with our other work. So for me, composing new pieces, and for Sam, who runs it with me, he's a school teacher, so he's been working online with his students. So we have to also do our day jobs as well. So we limited to 100, but it was easier with Song Without Words because we made a click track for this one.
Okay.
And I think players found it a lot easier, and it's shorter as well.
The third project is called Horizon. Tell us something about this new project.
Yeah, so for the third one, I wanted to do something which is sort of looking forward maybe to a time when we get back to something like normal. And this word horizon is you know, when you look to as far as you can see. So say you're standing by the seaside, by the sea. The horizon is sort of where the sea meets the sky. It's that bit right as far as you can see. So it's something, a piece which is more hopeful and uplifting. But also the idea was to create a brand new piece that's written during lockdown, rather than choose something from a few years ago. So a piece which is inspired by the feelings of what's happening at the moment. And also this time we're asking all of the players to contribute to the commission, to commission me to write the piece. And I think this, from the messages that we have, I think people already, we've got lots of people joining the commission fund, and people seem really happy to be able to contribute towards this piece. So we'll be publishing all of the names of the people that have donated to the commissioning fund in the conductor's score when it's published by Amusiko. And generally people seem to be very, you know, excited to be able to contribute towards a new piece, because obviously normally commissioning a new piece is very, very expensive. Could be 1,000, 2,000 euros. But with this idea, with like the crowd fund, people can get involved from just 25 euros, which usually you wouldn't be able to commission a composer to write a piece. So it's an interesting model.
Yeah, it's a very new model in the accordion orchestra scene. Can new players still participate?
New players, yes, yeah. It's all they need to do is email the Project Orchestra email address. Maybe you can flash it up.
Yes, sure.
On the screen, and they choose which level of commission they would like to join. But if they email us, we can send them the details.
Great. Now we come to your pieces at Amusiko. They are very different. In the intermediate level, there are the pieces 2012, Peace, Song Without Words, and One Tango. Where do you get your inspiration for the compositions? What's the ideas?
Yeah, I suppose, I don't know where any composer gets their inspiration from. Taking a specific one, for instance, Song Without Words, I wrote this for a workshop day in England, where we have 80 accordionists come together for one day, rehearse for maybe 5 hours, and then we do a short informal concert at the end of the day. And within the 80 players, there's many different levels of experience of accordionist. So this music that I write, and I've written a few pieces. 2012, for instance, I wrote for this same course. And this music has to be immediately interesting, but also immediately playable. So these players don't see the music before they arrive. They only see it in the morning when they get there. So we have to be able to, in 5 hours, get 80 accordionists to be able to play this for the concert in the afternoon. So that's the sort of logistics behind the piece. But the artistic inspiration, I don't know where it comes from. I mean, for instance, some pieces, if I'm commissioned, so like Clowns, for instance, I think we were going to go on to talk about that, but that was commissioned by Stefan Hibber for his 50th birthday concert. And the theme, he asked for a theme for all the composers that were writing for the birthday, was humour. So he wanted just something, he gave us, all the composers, he gave us some examples of pieces. So that's how I came up with the idea of, you know, these little clowns, 3 different clowns that were all messing around together.
We can hear into clowns now.
Yeah.
One.
Ah.
No. Moment. That's great music.
The car horns makes me laugh every time, even though I know it's going to happen. When you hear that, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, we have played it with the Accordion Orchestra Recklinghausen in Innsbruck.
Ah, yes.
Players had a lot of fun with this
Hmm.
piece. We cannot talk about all your pieces.
Sure.
But let's talk about the piece Peace. I'm a great fan. I played it with my other orchestra, Datastico, in Innsbruck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's absolutely good. And Hans-Günther Kölz did it in many workshops, and GAPO, Global Accordion Project Orchestra, also played it at first.
Yes.
Tell us something about the content from Peace.
So this one is easy to talk about the inspiration. I was on tour with a band that I play in called The Divine Comedy. It's a pop rock band. And we were in the north of France, and we went to visit the Normandy beaches where the D-Day landings happened. And we had this tour guide, French lady, and she had one of those Madonna mics on, so she was sort of talking. And she had, so if you imagine, she was looking towards us, but we were looking towards her, and then behind her was the sea and the beaches. And just as she was talking, and she did a lot of talking, but as she was talking, these 17-year-old, 18-year-old guys dressed in sort of military cadet uniform were walking behind her, sort of whistling this tune. And it was a really poignant moment, because it felt like, you know, they could have been ghosts of the past, you know, from the war. And so immediately when I got home from that tour, I started to work on Peace. I wrote the two main themes that afternoon, just wrote them down, sang them into my phone to record them so I wouldn't forget. And then when I got home to London, I then started to work on the composition.
I have the GAPO video in YouTube, so we can hear the finish.
Okay, sure.
Great music too.
Nice to hear it again.
I know that the World Music Festival in Innsbruck is always a highlight for you. Last time you started at the highest level with your own work, Black Mountain. How was the experience in the big Saal Tirol?
It's fantastic. I could live in that hall. I think I like that hall so much. And this time it was interesting because we played in that hall the first time we went to Innsbruck in 2013, and we had, I don't know, 18 players. We didn't really know what Innsbruck was, the standard, how the standard is so high. So to be able to go back this time, or last time in 2019, last year, and really understand properly what was needed in that category, it was really nice. And to be playing my piece, and it's a long piece, 15 minutes, Black Mountain, 4 movements. So for me, the process was quite tricky, quite difficult, because I had a very clear idea about this piece, Black Mountain. But because it was for such a special occasion in Innsbruck, it took me many, many months to write it. Maybe 4 or 5 months I was working on that piece. And I kept thinking I'd finished it, and then I'd listen to it, and it just needed something else, something else, something else all the time. Because I was visualizing playing it in the hall, that specific hall in Innsbruck. But we put absolutely everything into that performance. I mean, the orchestra is fantastic, but that day they just it was like they were flying. I couldn't have asked for any more from them. They played brilliantly.
Yes, we can look in this moment. I have the fourth part from Black Mountain. Great moment.
I still get nervous when I watch that. I get nervous watching it as if I can change anything. It's crazy.
Many conductors sometimes wonder about your special register informations. Tremolo with piccolo, perhaps. You find it very often in your scores. I also try to change some registers with my orchestras, but I kept coming back to your sounds. What's special about the Ian Watson sound?
I think one of the things is so I generally write for my own orchestra. So I sort of hear their sound when I'm writing. Even when I'm writing for other orchestras, I sort of can't help but hear the sound of my orchestra. And I know that we don't use electronium instruments with the London Orchestra. And what I try to do is use percussion in quite a large way to achieve some of the colour that many of the German orchestras get from using electronium instruments. So I use a lot of vibraphone, for instance, and when you combine the timbre of a vibraphone with an accordion with tremolo and forefoot, that sound is, to my ears, is incredible. You know, the vibraphone can play very quietly, and even with 40 accordions, you still hear the timbre of the vibraphone coming through with this sort of metallic sound that you get with the forefoot reed on top of the two tremolo reeds. So I think that's, you know, when people ask me about the sound of my pieces, I think it's often, particularly to German ears, it's something quite different and unusual, because A, the lack of electronium, but B, the way I try to use percussion in a more sort of symphonic way than a lot of the time. A lot of the repertoire that is written for accordion orchestra will use timpani, a bass drum, maybe a drum kit. But I like to try and find these effects. So, you know, with the bow on a vibraphone, using the bow on it. In Black Mountain, in the second movement, there's a point where we use a rubber ball on the tam-tam. So you take the rubber ball and you drag it around the tam-tam, and it makes the sound of the beast. So in Black Mountain, the second movement is called the Beast of Black Mountain. And that sound creates this sort of roar sound, which you get. And I learned these techniques because I play, in London, I play in some new music ensembles. So I play with the London Sinfonietta many times at the Royal Festival Hall in London. And these are contemporary composers really exploring all the different techniques and effects you can achieve with all the instruments. But I'm always watching the percussion. What are they doing with the percussion? How are they making that sound? And try and then use that in my music. So I think that, yeah, it's partly to do with the registers that I use, but I think mainly the way that I try and integrate the percussion really is proper members of the orchestra, rather than these guys at the back who can just add a little bit of sound.
Great. You
Sorry, it's too long. My answers are too long.
No. It's very informative to hear it directly from you as a composer.
Good.
You compose directly for accordion orchestra. Do you imagine your music directly with this sound, or do you think the sound of a symphony orchestra and transcribe it in your mind?
Different pieces in different ways, I think. So clowns, I definitely imagine clowns just for straight accordion orchestra, because it's this sort of rhythmic, syncopated music, which I think accordion orchestras actually do better than symphony orchestras. When I played music, I played with symphony orchestras many times, and whenever you hear them trying to do, you know, 100-piece symphony orchestra trying to do this very rhythmical, precise stuff, I find it's very hard with a symphony orchestra unless they're extremely good, because just the delay in sound from one side of the orchestra to the other, you know, the snare drum's over there and the harp's way over there, and it's very difficult. But with something like Black Mountain, I can imagine it also with a symphony orchestra. And in fact, in London next year, I'm playing a concerto with a symphony orchestra, a new concerto by Jonathan Dove, English composer. And in the program, I will be conducting, so I will play the concerto, and then in the second half of the concert, I will conduct Black Mountain, the premiere of the symphony orchestra version.
Now 10 works and 10 pieces from London have been published by Amusiko. Horizon will be number 11, and the 4-movement suite Europe from your CD Flight will also appear soon. We can also reveal that 6 pieces for accordion duo free bass will be released soon. Can your fans in Germany look forward to further compositions? Do you have more ideas?
Yeah, I do. And in fact, I've just finished a piece for accordion ensemble, which will be played in Innsbruck in 2022 and published on the same day. And I'm also writing I'm writing 2 pieces for Oberstufe orchestras, also for Innsbruck. So at the moment, the commissions that I have are quite a long way, 2 years until they're going to be played. So I'm sure there'll be other pieces as well, but at the moment they're the 3 pieces that I'm working on.
Great. Yeah, thank you for this nice and very informative interview. I think Germany is very happy to hear and play more from you. And thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure, and I love working and playing in Germany. So I hope I will see you and your German players soon in a workshop somewhere. Next year I'll be conducting the Bundesorchestra. So we have 2 concerts planned in Germany, and then 1 concert with the Bundesorchestra in London, with a joint concert with the London Accordion Orchestra. So I will be learning German language, I hope.
Very great, and I hope we see you at workshops in Germany. And
yeah, I would like that very much. I really like working in Germany, so I hope to see you soon.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tobias. Take care.
Ja, wir hoffen, dass es euch gefallen hat, dass es informativ war. Ich glaube, wir konnten super hinter die Kulissen der Komposition und auch ja, hinter den Menschen Ian Watson gucken. Ian, nicht Ian. Und ich freue mich schon jetzt auf das nächste Amusiko Release. Wer da sein wird, das kann ich euch noch nicht sagen. Lasst euch einfach überraschen. Und ich sage bis bald. Alle Stücke von Ian Watson findet ihr auf www.amusiko.de. Tschüss.